ACC teams, because I do think the winner is more likely to come out of those three. Duke, as you guys know, is so uber talented with R.J. Barrett and Zion's at another level. I mean, I can't recall anyone ever coming back from an injury and being as good for as long as he was in the ACC tournament. And I mean, it was historic. You know, he goes 13 for 13 his first game, and you've seen him here go through a triple team, and then he's the first one to the ball on the other side of the basket. He's a remarkable talent, but it's overshadowed how good R.J. Barrett is, how good Trey Jones is defending, and what a good passer he is and a setup guy. But also, I think Virginia's being overlooked a little bit too, and we're focusing on the catastrophe that they had last year in the first round. I think that was an anomaly. I don't think it's likely to happen again, and I think they're every bit as likely to go to the Final Four as they were back in 2016 when they lost in the Elite Eight when they spit that lead up to Syracuse.
Jay, I'm not sold on Virginia. I'm one of those guys because I'm not sold on them offensively. I know their defense is always elite, no question about it, but offensively, I'm just not sold on them. I got to see it to believe it. I am, however, very sold on North Carolina. I just don't think that Roy Williams gets nearly as much credit as he deserves, considering Mike Krzyzewski's resume, how he gets to coach Team USA, the recruiting, the All-Americans that he has in his program, but yet North Carolina is always right there. They're my pick to win the national championship. I believe they are yours. Tell us why.
Well, for a lot of the reasons you talked about, I think you're exactly right, Stephen A., that Roy Williams doesn't get the credit that he deserves as being one of the true great coaches. And I don't mean, look, he's in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. He's getting credit. But I think sometimes how successful they are year to year and the consistency at a high level sometimes gets glossed over. Roy Williams does an extraordinary job, and he's got a team this year that when I saw him on January 12th, they played Louisville, and Louisville blew their doors off at the Smith Center. And it was a game that North Carolina was never in, and it's rare you ever say that. And I kind of thought, I'm not sure that Carolina is going to be as good as I expected, and they have been. They've won, I think, 15 of their last 16. And they're really good. Their point guard, Kobe White, the freshman with the magnificent hair, keeps getting better and better. Cam Johnson, their transfer they got from Pittsburgh, this is his second year there, is one of the best shooters in the country. He's shooting like 48% from three. They're efficient. They get up and down the floor like crazy, and they're doing it a different way because they don't have the interior strength they've had in the past. That may be the only thing that trips them up, is they don't score and defend around the rim like they have in past years, past teams, like when they won it in 17, when they went to the final in 16. They're not quite as powerful inside. They can't throw it in the post and get a bucket like they did those years. But, man, they shoot the three, and their transition game is excellent.
Jay, it doesn't seem like people believe in Gonzaga this year as much as the committee does, at least. I'm wondering about Mark Few. Does he need to win a national title to elevate from, oh, my God, what a great job he's doing considering the size of the program and the level and all that stuff? Or is he already in the pantheon, in the elite, most kind of blue blood type coaches?
He's already in the pantheon coaching-wise. Like, he's going to be in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. And he's one of the truly great coaches. And really, you're not going to find a better guy than Mark Few. But I think it's remarkable that, honestly, Max, we're even talking about does he need to win a national championship? Because before they went to the final in 2016, I believe, or 2017, before they went to the final in 2017, we were discussing whether they could make a Final Four. Right. And so this is the anniversary, maybe yesterday, 20 years ago, they went to the Elite Eight. And beat Florida to go to the Elite Eight. And that's where this all started. Dan Munson was the coach who's now at Long Beach State, and Mark Few was his assistant. And when Fewy took over, nobody imagined it was like that was a one-off for Gonzaga. That was all you could hope for. And he's turned that program into a perennial, like they've gone to 4 straight Sweet 16s. Nobody else we're talking about has done that. But can they win the national championship? I think they can. They proved that they could in 2017. I don't know whether they'll do it this year, but they're good enough to do it. They've got 2 legit stars in Rui Hachimura and Brandon Clark.
Jay, of the number 2 seeds, who do you like the most? You got Michigan State, you got Tennessee, you got Kentucky. Who do you like as a number 2 that could basically knock off, just win a national championship, basically?
If they were totally healthy, I would say Michigan State. I think Michigan State's got everything. They've got a great point guard in Cassius Winston. They lost Joshua Langford earlier in the season, and that was a huge loss because of the way he defends and the way he can shoot it. And then, people have talked about Michigan State kind of getting jobbed a little bit, being put in Duke's bracket. I think that's true, honestly. But Duke got jobbed a little bit, too, having the best number 2 in their bracket. But I will tell you that the biggest threat to North Carolina, Stephen A., sort of in our discussion about them getting to the final and maybe winning, is Kentucky. Like, Kentucky is really good. And they've got a player named P.J. Washington. I know you guys know him. But he turned a corner to be a star. And Tyler Hero is shooting it, and he can get 5-6 threes in a game. Ashton Higgins is one of the best defensive point guards in the country, if not the best. He and Trey Jones, both freshmen, I think, are vying for that. And I think Kentucky's got a legitimate chance, and I haven't even mentioned Keldon Johnson, who's going to be a lottery pick. They've got a legitimate chance to cut the nets down this year. I didn't think so when I saw them earlier against Duke. They were the #1 team in the country going into the Champions Classic, and they got crushed in that one. It took them a while to recover from it, but they've recovered. And with P.J. Washington playing at this level, the biggest threat to North Carolina isn't Duke, it's Kentucky and getting out of their region.
Jay, real quick, because I'm just curious about this. I'm being told to wrap, but you think it's a coincidence that Minnesota is playing Louisville? Like, did the committee do that on purpose for the storyline, or is it coincidental?
I don't think they did it on purpose, but they didn't fix it, and that's the problem I have with it. When it fell that way, and that's what I believe happened, it fell that way, I think they had an obligation to fix it. That's an embarrassment to this tournament. They're always talking about having a balanced national tournament. It ain't balanced when they did that. That's embarrassing, and they should be embarrassed about it. They should have fixed that.
All right, Jay, appreciate your insight. As always,
thanks,
let
Jay.
the madness begin. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jay, enjoy the rest of your day. Get some rest.
Thank you.
ESPN Tournament Challenge is back, everybody. The @1 bracket game. Head to ESPN.com/bracket to make your picks. The brackets are open, so choose wisely because they close Thursday at noon Eastern. Steph Curry up to his old tricks, but the Warriors find themselves in an unfamiliar situation. I will explain that after the break. Look at that. Over 7.5 million brackets have already been filled out. Sign up now, ESPN.com/bracket, or download the Tournament Challenge app. Sunny day out there in Bristol.
Pick Michigan State to win it. Pick Michigan State.
If you want to be smart anyway, start with Carolina as the winners, and then, the rest is fluff.
Duke, it don't matter who else in the tournament.
Always fill your bracket out, understanding matchups and experience. I mean, I look at the coaches, I think systems win games. Nowadays, just close my eyes and pick. It's been so crazy. After watching Virginia lose last year, I don't know what's up.
When I'm filling out my bracket, it's always whoever's the proficient point guards. Those guys are going to be the one to dictate the game.
You got to pick some upsets. You have to know that every #1 team is not going to make it. I've never won a whole bracket, but I always go with my gut.